Hi everyone, so I bought these two candlesticks which you saw in candlesticks which you saw in a haul I did probably a week or two ago, a couple of weeks ago I think it was, and I like them but I don't like the colour and I don't like the paint job that they did on these. I think it looks a bit naff and I want to add a bit more depth to them. I want them to almost look a bit more stone like as opposed to bone like. And just give them the fumsmusings makeover. So first of all I took some black acrylic paint. Ideally you'd use black spray paint for this, but I haven't got any left, and also my lungs are not in the mood for spray paint, so I have to stick with stuff that hasn't got like a strong odour or anything, so hence the reason why I'm using black acrylic paint. It will work, but what I'll do is I'll have to varnish these to make the paint stay on. I might do that or I might not, because I'm quite happy to do touch-ups. I'll just keep them out like year round so that they don't particularly get chipped or anything, so they should be alright. So anyway, I'm completely painting all of them black to start off with, get rid of that horrible paint job that was in the shop, and just give me a nice base to start off with the effect that I want to create. And once they're painted they look like this. So this is completely painted black and ready to go. So what I'm going to do is mix a grey, and I'm going to dry brush the grey over the top, and this will make the details really pop, give it that sort of almost stone like kind of effect, and just make them look a lot better than they did before in my opinion. You could keep them their original colour if you prefer. And this is just the first stage in actually giving them a makeover. I've got more stuff to do to them, which you'll see later in the video. So here I'm just using backwards and forwards motions and just basically catching the very tip of the paintbrush on the actual sculpt, and it makes all those details pop up, and just really adds to that sort of stone effect that I'm going for. As you can see, that the detail of those hands really starts to pop when the dry brushing's over the top, and it's basically just a case of doing this all over the skulls. And then you'll see what I do after I finish this is I add a layer with more white, so there's even less grey in it. It's virtually white, just to add a couple of different tones to that greyish colour that I'm adding to these. And I think these just are going to look a lot better than the sort of weird bony colour that they were before. And also the theme for my mantelpiece this year, like the colour scheme, is going to be like black and white, as close to as I can get. So obviously these are going to go on my mantelpiece, so I needed them to have a base colour of black. And if you accidentally get too much paint on your brush, or the brush is too wet, you'll get like a big splodge like I just did. If you just wipe it off quickly with your finger and then dab on some more black, you can cover up any mistakes. That's one benefit of using this technique, is the fact that you can just go over it again in black if you need to start again. It's worth practice. If you've not done this before, practice on the back, and then just repaint if you're not happy with how it's turning out. The mistake I made is I dipped my paintbrush in the water, which I shouldn't have done. So then I'm going to struggle now to actually get the brush dry enough to do the dry brushing properly. So I've got a towel next to me which I use for when I'm painting, and I've got my heat gun just to dry off the bit I touched up. So that's the first one, and then I'm going to do the exact same thing to the second one, and then once I've done that, what I'm going to do is I'll come back and show you the next steps. Okay, so after the paint has dried they look like this, but they need just a little touch more detail. So I've decided what I'm going to do is add some dripping wax and also add some moss. So first of all, I'm just adding the moss. This is just from this moss is like some fake moss from miniature model, you know, miniature house making supplies. And all I'm doing is I'm dabbing a little bit of hot glue here and there, and then just putting some of the moss over the top. And then what I do is brush off the excess moss once the hot glue has set. And I'm just going to do that here and there on the skulls and on the base. I want this to look like something that's maybe been damp or been outside or something like that, so there's like a little bit of moss growing on it. I'm also going to add a little touch of cobwebs using the hot glue gun as well, which you'll see me do later on. So as you can see, I'm just putting the moss on and then brushing off the excess. And obviously I'm going to do them so that they pretty much match, because I'm making these as a pair. Like so. And then what I did was I lit a couple of candles and then I dripped the wax all over these, so it would really drip down over the skulls and like flow from one skull to the other. And I did this a few times to get this layered wax effect. And then I placed the two candles that I've got, which is actually one big one I chopped in half. Got two candles and placed them into the top, and then I used my heat gun to get those to dribble down a little bit as well. And they now look like this. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.